Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in.
Hello, welcome to the podcast. Today we have a beautiful episode for you. It is one of my favorite types of episodes. We were privileged enough to interview Neeka, who is one of our clients who has been working through the Ending Body Burnout method and has just created for herself the most beautiful results. So Neeka came to us after struggling with 4 decades of anxiety that was crippling her physical health. The anxiety was leading to other problems like insomnia, gut issues, difficulty in losing weight and body pain. And it was also crippling her confidence, her relationships, and her ability to show up in her business. She likened the anxiety to feeling like she was in a prison in her own mind. And now, fast forward 10 or so months, she has peace and freedom internally for the first time in her life. Her confidence is blooming. She is showing up in her business, especially in her social media, like a rock star. She has a beautiful ASMR massage therapy practice and the most beautiful Instagram account that I would recommend you following. I'm going to put her link in the show notes. Because part of her practice, she does a really special type of massage therapy that is very sensory, and it leads to deep relaxation of the nervous system. So her business is thriving as she's showing up in her community, and she's also been putting in boundaries and creating healthy relationships like never before, which is so awesome. Not to mention she's eating all the things again, and she's finally released stubborn weight and seeing muscle definition in her body, which is kind of cool to talk about because she's in her 40s now and she's like, this is the first time I have actual muscles. And this is all because her system is now out of fight and flight and freeze. Her cortisol levels are reduced, and her body is functioning the way it should, and she's just thriving in life now, which is so beautiful. So these real life stories are super special. I actually call them evidence collecting, evidence that healing is possible. And the more that you can hear and see this, the more it becomes possible for you. So I'm so incredibly grateful to the beautiful Neeka for being confident enough, brave enough to come onto the show today to spread hope and healing with others. And it's actually really funny. At the start of the interview, she said, if you'd asked me a year ago to be on your podcast, there is no way I would have done it. So it goes to show the deep healing that she has done to feel safe enough, calm enough, regulated enough, confident enough to come and share her story today. Now, if you love what you're hearing in today's episode and you're seeking a deep, holistic root cause healing approach, now is your time. Doors are opening to our Ending Body Burnout method on the 17th of June, so not too long away. So I'm going to pop in the show notes the link to join the wait list to our Ending Body Burnout method if you're interested in working with us and getting the results and working through the method that Neeka did. If you're on the wait list, you do get early bird access. So we do have limited spots because our program does include one-on-one support. And if you jump in early, you do get 500 plus early bird bonuses. So definitely worth being on that wait list. And if you are interested, but you're like, I'd just like to learn a little bit more, maybe you're a bit like Neeka, you like to research and really just like feel, and is this going to be something that can help me? We are also holding a free Rewire Your Brain to End Body Burnout coaching week in June. Where we will essentially over 4 days or 4 workshops will take you through the steps that we take our clients through to get beautiful results. We've held this specific series in the past. We've had now over 3,000 or 4,000 people register. Many people have attended. People who have attended or watched back the replays have even shared with us having like some really profound shifts just from the free workshops that we hold. And we are not huge on like just consuming information. Yes, there'll be teaching. Yes, there'll be learning, but the gift that Chris and I can bring our community is really like going deeply into root cause coaching and helping you to rewire at a subconscious level. So expect all of that. Head to the show notes if you would like to join us at Rewire Your Brain.
G'day guys, welcome to this episode of the Ending Body Burnout Show. Philly and I have a special guest on today. We have Neeka. Hey Neeka.
Hey guys.
Hello. These would be our most favorite podcast episodes to record because it's super special when our clients are brave enough to come on and share your story. And it's also just a really special experience too, I think, for all involved. Other clients who have done it, it's almost felt a bit cathartic, kind of like going from the beginning to where you are now and all the things that have happened in between. And it's just a beautiful time to celebrate how amazing you are as well. So I'm super excited.
Awesome, thank you.
And these stories they're so amazing for people who are struggling with similar issues because it is providing evidence of that healing is possible, especially for those who have tried a lot of things and are still stuck with body burnout and chronic health issues. Okay, well, let's dive in right at the start. Why did you reach out to Chris and Philly? I guess what was happening for you in your health? What symptoms were showing up for you? How was it impacting your life, your work, and everything in between?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just to be honest, straight off the bat, like anxiety was definitely one of the main things that I was dealing with. And when I first started with you guys at the end of last year, and you mentioned about potentially going on a podcast, then at that time I was like, there's no way I wouldn't be able to do this.
No,
it's not happening. And now I've completed your course and here I am. So it just goes to show that it has helped significantly with my anxiety.
amazing.
But to be honest, it was the way that I heard about you was through another one of your clients who is a good friend of mine, Sally, who you had also recently on a podcast. And she had initially invited me to your original webinar that you guys had. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, back in 2024. And she was really keen to do it because she had already studied about you guys and looked into a lot of what you had to offer. And she said, I'm doing this. And she goes, you should really do it too. And I'm somebody who is generally, I don't jump into things too quickly. I'm fairly skeptical. I like to do a lot of research into things first. And I already knew she was going to do it. So I said to her, okay, well, you do it and I'll see how you go with it. And then I'll have a real life experience from somebody close to me. And Sally is honestly the most honest person I have ever met in my entire life. So I knew I could trust her 1,000%. So I was lucky enough to actually watch Sally's real life progress from where she was when she started to after she finished working with you guys nearly a year later. And her transformation like just completely blew me away. And she honestly she could not stop praising you guys. And I said, okay, this is this is something that I really would like to look into. And that's how it all started.
So cool. It's so cool. I love that. And yeah, we can have a little giggle now that it's like, yeah, nah, I'm not going to do that. You do that first. Skeptical, as if it's going to work, but I'll see. And then I'll try. And then it's like, fast forward to now. It's so cool. So there was anxiety was the big thing that you wanted to resolve. Were you experiencing other symptoms kind of connected to that? Because I know that a lot of clients and also me in the past too, the anxiety was triggering a lot of other cascade of symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have been dealing with anxiety pretty much most of my life. I've always been a very shy, introverted person. I often would not speak up, wouldn't have boundaries. I had always put other people's feelings and emotions and things before myself. I didn't ever really sort of know why. And because of that, I was dealing with a lot of other issues as well. So, along with that, there was a lot of insomnia, a lot of sleep issues. I had really bad low energy problems. I had a lot of digestive issues as well. I guess kind of like leaky gut sort of type symptoms too. Lots of food intolerances, and just a lot of general day-to-day things would stress me out too much that I wouldn't do them. I ended up with a lot of decision fatigue or procrastination problems. And there would be certain goals that maybe I would want to achieve, but I would back out of them because I would freak out too much. I wouldn't go to like networking events or, meet new people and make new friends. And just so many different things were affecting my day-to-day life.
Mm. And I think that's the big thing. Like a lot of people, when they are on a health journey, yes, it's usually the symptoms that are screaming at them that they want to lovingly let go of. Most people say get rid of, fix. But it's so much bigger than that in terms of how it's impacting other things in your life. Can you talk a little bit about what you do for your business as well? Because I'm curious if that was impacting your business. And I know that you're also very into nervous system healing and everything as well, which is probably why we came together.
Yeah, absolutely. So I pretty much just celebrated the second birthday of my new business venture that I started. So
Cool.
mid 2024, I launched Australia's very first dedicated, intentional, in-person ASMR massage studio. And so a lot of people familiar with ASMR mostly as an online thing. So people tend to watch it a lot to help with things like anxiety or fatigue or depression issues or to help them with sleep. And so I ended up transforming that into an in-person service. So people can actually come to me, and it's not just the sounds that I do, that's a part of it, but I also do the tactile version of ASMR. So it's a full sensory experience. And a lot of people do come to me who are dealing with things like trauma or sleep issues, ADHD, a variety of different things. Some people just come in for the curiosity of it, but most of the people who are coming into me have some form of burnout. And it's amazing for nervous system regulation. And the majority of my clients, almost everybody, falls asleep or is at least falling asleep. And I know, Philly, you yourself you actually have my services, so you came to see me when you saw me in Brisbane.
So good.
Yeah, so you've experienced it, so you know what it's like to have that relaxation. Yeah, so I think
she came home and she was all like
so smushy,
like floaty, and
I didn't fall asleep, but my imagination ran wild. I was like transported to all sorts of places.
Was that right before the wedding? Like that was the day of the wedding.
It was the day we were about to fly home. So I was really chill on the plane.
That's so good. I think Because I have already been in the industry for over 20 years in the beauty industry, I've done a lot of service-based work. I was also a makeup artist for a really long time, massage therapist, beauty therapist. So I was used to working with clients and working on clients. That was fine. The biggest challenge was creating my online presence. That was the hardest thing for me because social media is such a big thing, and especially something as specific as ASMR, where so many people are used to seeing that online. I didn't want to become a content creator, but I knew I had to create content, and that included showing up on my social media.
Mm.
And so people could see me, they could see my face, they see who they am, a part of my personality, and to expose yourself to the World Wide Web like that for somebody who deals with chronic anxiety,
Mm.
that was really quite difficult. That was probably the biggest challenge with my work was being on social media.
Yeah.
And now I do stories and talking heads almost on a daily basis.
You're amazing at social media now. I love that. That's so cool. Now, I think we are going to have you back on the podcast later on in the future, and we're going to do like a really deep dive around ASMR because it's a really fascinating topic. I'm curious what you had before you joined our Ending Body Burnout Method program. What things had you tried so far? And did any of those things help, even if it was like little shifts, but obviously didn't fully get the result that you wanted?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question, actually. Because when I started this new business venture, because I was working for myself, by myself, and it was something that was quite new. I'm also breaking the stigma around a lot of misconceptions of what ASMR massage is as well. So I'm quite the pioneer in the industry.
Mm.
And I knew that my confidence was one of the main things that may have been holding me back to really get myself out there. Because when you're starting a new venture like this that is so unknown, things like going and doing networking events and talking to people about it and being active on social media is a huge part of that. And, even doing expos and stalls and putting yourself out there and that level of vulnerability was quite difficult. And towards the end of 2024, when I pretty much just been launching this business, I did actually enroll in a 6-month feminine affluence business course. It was a really good course where it combined you thinking about who you wanted to be, your future self, and then trying to imagine yourself going in that direction and becoming that version of your future self. It was both a personal and a business thing, but it did include a lot of shadow work. And there was a lot of NLP work in there, but it was mostly about imagining yourself as that future version,
Mm.
which it was great. It was really good. It was very helpful. It was a starting platform for me to really build that confidence.
Mm.
But after that finished, I realized I was still somewhat stuck in my past and my past thoughts and my past beliefs.
Yeah.
So then around the end of 2025, I enrolled in another a very intensive course that was based on tapping into your root belief. And then it went into the meaning that we gave to ourselves as children.
Mm.
And that was kind of the first time I'd really heard about that sort of level of work
Mm.
of when we're children, stuff happens to us and we create this meaning about what that means about us, and then we carry it with us for the rest of our lives. But at the same time, it was only a very short course.
Mm.
And I know that things like this take time and needed a lot more in-depth time to get into it. And at the same time, Sally was doing the course with you guys and she was kind of close to finishing up.
Mm.
And so when I heard what she had learnt through you guys, I was pretty much, that's exactly what it is that I'm looking for.
Mm. It's kind of
This
like
is
the next step deeper.
this is the next step. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was the last piece of the puzzle that I needed to put together to help me really take that next step. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool. And there was, I think you also mentioned in our first consult, you tried a bunch of physical things too in terms of diet changes, parasite cleanses. Did that shift anything, or it was kind of like your system was in such a state of fight, flight, freeze that those physical protocols didn't really budge things.
It did, yeah, there were quite a few things that I did. I did make some quite drastic changes with my diet. I used to eat just, I guess, pretty much your standard diet that a lot of people do eat. And then I changed that and switched over to more of like keto, low carb, low sugar, less processed foods, as much organic food as I could. That did make quite a significant difference to a lot of things in my life. And I'm really glad I took that direction. It helped a lot with a lot of the gut issues and things I was having, but it wasn't helping so much with the emotional side of things. And the main reason is that at the time, I was in a very toxic relationship that kept me in this state of fight and flight. I was in survival mode. And your hormones basically, they almost will override pretty much anything else that you're doing in life. Like everything else, your hormones are going to override it, especially things like cortisol, that gets in the way of growth hormones and all sorts of things, which I knew about. So that marriage ended quite abruptly, and left me in a state of a bit of a financial crisis. And then I had to launch myself into my business and give it everything that I had. So I was still stuck in survival mode during all of this. So even though physically and mentally I could do a lot of these things, emotionally and hormonally, I was still really stuck.
Yeah. It's such a common pattern that I see. And it's also really lovely when you have done things to set a physical foundation. Like, let's just say you jumped into this journey with us and it's like, I'm eating Macca's every day. It's like, well, it's going to impact some things, I think. So for anyone listening to this, especially if they're like, I have tried so many things and I'm like, why am I not getting the results? It's like you are, like, things will be being supported. Things are always changing. It's just bringing all the pieces together and the pieces that you need in the right order that you need them to then get the results that you want. Okay, so the first step with all our clients when they're working through the ending body burnout method with us is we love to start off with the answers phase, which is getting some body specimens, some poop. For you, I think it was poop, wee, and breath. No, we didn't do poop. Anyway, saliva, urine, and breath. And so this can be really useful because when we're running functional lab tests, we can identify specifically what is out of whack in your body system so that throughout the journey, we can be supporting those body systems. If someone only stops there, it kind of is a little bit of a Band-Aid approach, but it's a lovely tool that we put into the method that can just help the journey fast track and also for you to be supported physically while you're doing that deeper work. Are you happy to share some of your lab test findings and how it felt? Was anything shocking? Was anything like, thought I had that, or anything validating?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that was one of the things too with your lab testings, which was also what attracted me to your course so much too, because you don't just tackle one thing, you try to take such a holistic approach to it. And so when you were like, so did you want to do some of the lab tests? And I was like, yes, all the things.
Hell yes.
Just I'm diving in. I'm 100% trusting you guys. I want to know as much as I possibly can. And like you said, test, don't guess. Very important. And you do really in-depth testing, a lot more than like a lot of other places do. So I already had an inkling that things like my cortisol levels would be really high. I already knew I had a bit of SIBO and a little bit of yeast issues and things like that.
Yeah.
But when the test came back, to find that my cortisol levels were like really high, pretty much from day to night, and they weren't dropping at all, I was like, wow, because that also made a lot of sense as why I was struggling with weight loss as well, because cortisol blocks that. But also to find out my serotonin, my dopamine completely just depleted. Adrenals were just completely shot. I was like, wow, my system, not just am I like emotionally depleted, but my whole body and my mind and my hormones and everything were just Yeah.
Yeah. Kaput. Burnt out is what we call it. Burnout.
Mhm.
And everything is connected too. So it's this is also a reason why we love to add the physical component into it, because sometimes people can be trying their very best to like rewire and reprogram at a subconscious level. But if your serotonin is in the boots, it can be really hard to create the emotional state that you need in order to deeply change at an unconscious level. And so, if we can like support that and spark that along the journey, then it just works beautifully. As you are a great example.
And I loved also how you specifically are like such a science girly too,
Bit of
because
a geek.
I am as well, like 100% like that full geeky side. Like
Yeah.
I'd like to know all the little intricate details of the sciencey side of things too,
Yeah.
which I absolutely loved.
Can I just share? This is totally segue, but I think Chris will like this. So I had a lab review consult with a new client today. And we got her labs back and she had candida. And she's like, Chris thought I had that in the free discovery call. I know. And I'm like, Chris usually doesn't go there, but she's like, he probably mentioned it offhand, but it's like, whoa, intuitively, Chris knew.
Yeah, that would have been a guess, if anything. Due to the extensive diagnostics that I've made in the last minute, I diagnose you as.
It was pretty funny.
If you're listening, it was definitely a guess.
Okay, so we started supporting those body systems, but then in order to really end your body burnout, we need to address all the deeper root causes, those unconscious core beliefs, subconscious patterns, unprocessed trauma, I think too was a really big one for you. What did it look like for you to get to what we call the deepest root cause? So that's really getting to the deepest root cause belief that is flaring up everything. And I'm curious if it's the same as where you landed when you did the short intensive belief course.
Yeah, like the root cause for me, which ended up being not good enough, was something that I already had a pretty strong understanding and inkling that it was anyway, because it was literally something that I had been repeating to myself, like not just subconsciously, but like consciously had been saying those words for a really long time. And also, as I said, like with being in quite a toxic marriage for a long time with a narcissist, they are very good at making you feel that as well. And so then when you have somebody literally telling you that and you yourself are telling you that, that was pretty much, it was like, well, that's my identity. Like that's what I identify as. And then also how I was raised as well, growing up in a family where I had multiple family members on the spectrum or in special needs. I was the main member of the family that had my full hearing, because a lot of my family members are hard of hearing, and had the ability to, for good education and things like that. So a lot of the family members would come to me and talk to me about their issues, or I would help them with certain things. My mum herself, she also carries a lot of generational trauma, and because she's like special needs, she wasn't ever able to have the ability or the chance really to sort of heal that. And so she came to me with a lot of her personal issues. So I was kind of like my mum's therapist. And then also
was this as a kid as well, or
yeah,
more?
This is literally like from very, very young age. And then helping like with my brother, helping raise him because he's autistic and those sorts of things. So I was kind of like the glue in the middle of the family, where I was the rescuer, I was the fixer. But at the same time, I was never given validation for what I was going through, because I always had to help everybody else. So I learned from a very young age that I'm not important, my needs don't matter. it being dismissed as normal and to be ignored, and that I was the one who was responsible for helping everybody else and being that fixer, the rescuer, the people pleaser, which again was things that you and I had been through, Philly, and Chris, that we worked out with that. So I already kind of had an inkling that that was my identity and my role. The biggest issue for me was more so, can I change that? Can I fix that? Or am I stuck with this identity with the rest of my life and there's nothing I can do about it? That was the main reason why I came to you guys, to see if I could actually reprogram it. And that's what I loved at the beginning with my session with you, Chris, right at the beginning, when you were like, you're not broken. And I'm like, yes, I am. And you're like, no, you're not. You're just a machine that's pumping out the wrong thing. You just need to go and reprogram that section and then it'll start pumping out the correct thing. And I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Is it possible?
Is it possible? Is it possible that and that was the biggest hang up that I had until eventually it got to the point where it's like, this is possible.
I actually, sorry to jump in. I actually look at exactly what you've just said there every time I open up my notes for you, because that's at the very top of my notes. So I have to scroll past that. And we call that the wonky box analogy. And so that's at the FYI, at the very top of my notes for you is the wonky box analogy. So every time I have a session with you, I scroll past that. But we also talked about the way you do anything is the way you do everything, and you chose this somehow, some way, some shape or form. There was a choice in here somewhere. Might not have been the choice to experience the experiences, but there was a choice of believing what it meant about you. I think that was a big thing at the start. Hey.
Yeah. And essentially too, that choice is always around like, how can I protect myself? How can I stay safe? How can I try and insert myself into acceptance so I can feel like I am good enough? But if the wonky box machine is saying, but you're not, then it's like, that's the constant output. Can you share just with the listeners who might not fully get that connection, how that core belief was literally causing anxiety?
Yeah, I suppose because I felt like I wasn't good enough and I thought that I was broken and unfixable. It basically meant that I was going through life accepting what I thought I deserved. And I didn't have standards for myself and I didn't have any boundaries. And I had quite low self-respect and self-worth. And as a result, I gave so much of myself and I became that people pleaser. And I was constantly in survival, self-protection, self-preservation mode. And I became a highly empathetic person, but to the point that I was constantly self-betraying myself. And that was one of the main things that I was just doing, even subconsciously on a day-to-day level.
Yeah. And so then the anxiety was actually the signal, not necessarily the diagnosis, if that makes sense. It's like, yes, it's useful to have a label. So it's like, okay, this is what this combination of your experience is. But the anxiety signal was literally like, either like, I'm not safe and I have to try harder or do more for others. And also, but Neeka, like, what about us? And so that signal, whether it's anxiety or some other mental or physical symptom, just gets louder and louder and louder until we actually start communicating with it and getting to understand it. Okay, so you did a little mic drop before. It's like the clincher was, is it possible for me to rewire it? And I'm sure that anyone who's listening is like, well, did it happen for you? How did you do it? So are you happy to share like a little bit around what it looked like for you to reprogram and rewire those root beliefs and then therefore the patterns and the symptoms?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest things with anybody who struggles with anxiety is that you're constantly in this war in your head with yourself. It's almost like there's the mind versus heart kind of war that you've got going on. And you want to speak up, you want to say things, you want to stand up for yourself, you want to have boundaries, but then a part of you is like, yeah, but what if you upset that person? Or what if they don't like you for that? And when you're someone who's so used to being a people pleaser and trying to avoid everything you can to not be not liked by people, then you're always at this war in your own mind. And depression tends to come with that as well. But then you have a lot of internal conflict, and there can be a lot of suppressed anger that comes with that too, because you might actually be experiencing anger towards these people who may be treating you unfairly, but then you're also allowing those people to treat you unfairly because you're either not speaking up with your boundaries, or you're not removing toxic people from your life. You're not purposely seeking self-care and time for yourself and peace for yourself. So I was somebody who was constantly stuck in my head. It was like living in my own prison inside of my own mind. And I think a lot of people can relate to what this feels like, because you do not stop thinking constantly, this war in your head. And I know, Chris, we had that also at the beginning where we talked about the different parts of ourselves. And I was like, well, I am kind of this part, but I also more want to be this part. But it turns out that you can actually align both parts together and accept all of yourself for who you are. But in the meantime, it got so hard being stuck in my own mind all the time, because I wasn't trusting my own intuition and then following through with that. I was like at war with myself, saying, no, no, don't listen to that, and trying to put in logic to a point that it becomes exhausting. Like physically and emotionally, it's exhausting. And you do get to some pretty dark moments in your life. And it got to a point where I just thought, it was just too much. I was overwhelmed, I was burnt out. It was just too much. And whilst I was going through this program and doing everything, this is one of the things that Chris was helping me with the most, was learning to not betray myself. And I can have empathy as long as it doesn't lead to self-betrayal. And I had gone through a very traumatic experience at the end of last year that was extremely difficult. And the old version of me before I had met you guys would have handled that situation completely differently. But because with the help of you guys, and especially with Chris holding an amazing amount of safe space for me and not criticizing me, but just allowing the emotions to flow and supporting me through that, I was able to make a decision that I was no longer in self-betrayal. Like I made a very, very difficult decision in that moment that was very hard and took a long time to deal with. And I remember very clearly that session I had with you, Chris, because it was very emotional for both of us. I was getting a little bit emotional thinking about it.
I wasn't even there and I'm getting emotional and goosebumpy.
Yeah. And we were going through one of the visualizations that had my eyes closed and everything. And then Chris asked me a question about what would my future self think of me right now making this decision. And I said to her response would be, this is the moment that you're becoming me. And that was significantly life-changing, because once you move past that point, if you make such a difficult decision and you realize you finally set yourself on a path of becoming the future version of yourself you want to be, there's no going back from that point forward.
So good.
Epic.
I love that. Were there any other, I guess, like practices, coaching frameworks that were really helpful for you?
Yes, I did also do the TRTP with you, Philly, which I know that it took a little bit of time into our course before we got the time to do that, because you guys were on your travels and things. But I think we actually did it at the right time. If I did it too soon, I don't think I would have quite been ready to really tackle that. But the TRTP, and I know it was a little bit challenging because I'm not a very expressive person, especially with my emotions. I don't really like getting angry and things. And you were like, you got to bring out the mama chicken in you.
Mama hen.
Mama chicken. And I was just like, I don't have mama chicken in me. I'm like, everything's going to be done much more quietly. But still, the visualizations that I had that you took me through, they were really strong in my mind. I just
Yeah.
wasn't like verbally expressive of those things.
Yeah.
But I can tell you now that I have had future, like since then, I have had other situations where people have done something, and I'm like, the mama chicken part of me is coming out now.
She's coming out. Yes, it's really powerful. Just for the listeners who might not know what TRTP is, it's a trauma therapy. So we're working on beliefs, but a big part of it too is going back into the past and reimagining the end of traumatic experiences and getting into some protective anger energy for that little version of you, whether it's the child, teen, or younger adult you. And it is really powerful because when you can, and this is, I actually think it happened in your coaching session with Chris that you were just talking about, the richer you imagine, the more profound your results will be because your unconscious mind will take it on as the new truth. Like literally, it's like we have a new memory now from the past, which means it can, or like we have a new memory of us now in the present or in the future. But specifically in the past stuff, it switches off those trauma loops because, and the emotional charge just disappears and neutralizes. And so your system doesn't have to hold on to it for protection to try and prevent it from happening again. So that's cool. I'm glad the mama chicken still comes out when she needs to, which is like the boundaries essentially. Like, and I find that when people, another word for what we did was inner child work as well. Like when you can go back and reparent the younger versions of you, you then upgrade into the parent or the adult you, which means that you are going to ferociously put in boundaries now and like not let other people treat you the way that you used to in the past because of dysfunctional patterns and protection.
Absolutely. And I was very nervous to do the TRT work. Like you're putting yourself in a position of like serious vulnerability and tapping into the deepest parts of yourself that are very emotional. And I was nervous and scared doing it, and also, a little bit embarrassed as well because you're doing it in front of somebody else. And I was like, do you have to be here watching me? And you're like, yes, it's got to be in front of another person, life witness. But I really appreciated that whenever I was a bit hesitant or a little bit stuck, you helped guide me through it, like every step of the way. And even when I was lost for words myself personally, you knew enough about me already to help give me or prompt me some of the words or the things. And it took a little while, but I got there. And I have quite a vivid imagination. So I was a lot in my head and I had the strong visuals. It was just the actual speaking of the words that was a bit difficult. So I really appreciated you helping me through that too.
Thank you. It was a joy and a pleasure. And it is like it's intense. And I think number one is like safety. And I use that before too, just in general, it's like having a safe space that's judgment free. So even when you might be requested to do some things that feel uncomfortable or embarrassing, because it's like, the not enoughness is starting to come out, right? And maybe I can't do it good enough. It's like, you know what? Like we're never judging you. Even if you yell at us, we're never judging you. It's like we're just seeing patterns and helping to break through that. So good. Okay, I mean, you mentioned some challenges there, but were there any other big challenges that you came up against when you were trying to heal, and how did you work through them?
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the main things is that for a long time, like humility is an important value to me and part of my identity. And I was often scared that being confident would mean that you become arrogant. And so I was always scared to move into a stage of being more confident with myself, because I didn't want that to mean arrogance. But it's not the same thing at all. And confidence isn't about, what a lot of people think, like that you don't care and you just strut through life like nothing bothers you. It's not that at all. Having that real confidence is truly being okay with yourself. It's like having that acceptance within yourself. It's it's being connected with who you are and understanding that you're not perfect, but you're trying your best and that is good enough.
Mm. I love that you mentioned that because we had this is like going quite a way back, but there was a client who didn't end up getting great results because she was so blocked and wasn't willing to move through exactly what you're talking about. There's different reasons why she wasn't willing to do that, but there was just so much fear that if I believe that I'm enough, and then I'm going to be a really mean person. So it's nice to hear on the other side, like someone having that same fear on the other side. It's actually like, no, the fear of me being arrogant, that is not my experience at all. And it's my experience too that you just become really grounded in yourself. And it also means you are more accepting with other people, and their stuff, and you're not taking it personally because you know who you are. And there's a generosity that is very different to people pleasing that comes from deep confidence in self.
Absolutely. And there are two additional parts that extend off to that as well, is that when you are confident in yourself and you gain that level of self-awareness, and you realize that a lot of people out there, if they are negative towards you or mean towards you or anything in any way, that's a reflection of them and who they are, not my worth, their emotional capacity, their projections, their trauma is what's coming out of them. So when you see it, you completely shift your mindset, and then you don't take things personally. So that's one big part of it. But the other part of it is that then you learn that life is all about filtering people through, in and out of your life. So if you genuinely want to be at peace and you want to surround yourself with the people who support you and are happy for you and uplift you, and if you want to become like a more secure person within yourself and more confident, it's good to surround yourself with those people and not the people who bring you down and pull you down. So if you set standards and you make yourself known authentically and confident within yourself, you don't be, because I used to be like, I want everyone to like me, and now I'm like, actually no, I don't, because I want to be surrounded by my tribe, my people, the people who are going to be there and supportive, and who are there to help me and support me, and not the people who bring me down. So it is extremely beneficial in multiple ways to have that level of self-acceptance and confidence.
And honestly, trying to make everyone like you is exhausting. It's like different masks for every situation.
Yeah, literally, like it's impossible for everybody to like you.
Yeah. What did you feel was different about our ending body burnout method that helped you to get the results that you have created for yourself?
I think mostly, as I mentioned at the beginning, is that it's a very holistic approach. You take multiple avenues to approach things. I've somebody who has had like many therapists over the years, and it's just that kind of one method of just talking about your issues, but that's it. That's not enough to really do anything or to solve anything. It's definitely a helpful outlet, but it doesn't really rewire what's the root cause. And so because you tackle so many different avenues, you've got like the lab testing and check all the hormones and everything that's going on there. And then you check like diet and that. And then you check even things like your environment, how you live in your environment, how you take care of yourself, like exercise, work, relationships with people, then all of the shadow work, the NLP, the TRTP, like it combines so many things that you're hitting it at all different angles. That if you're throwing everything all at it, you're gonna hit the target,
Yeah.
And that's what it is about, that I really appreciate about your course.
Yeah. I think when we ask that question, that is the main response that we get. It's just the holistic approach, which was a pretty big project to tackle as well. It's like, it would be so easy if like all we did was lab testing and supplements or even like it would be so easy if all we did was coaching, but you can't. I think if we start segmenting the different parts of us, we end up just in a reductionist model again, which is where people get stuck in the traditional medical system, where you go to the gastroenterologist because you have gut issues, or, even a psychologist if you have mental health issues. But everything is so interconnected that when we can bring all of you together, it is like, as you said, you will hit the target. And the time frame is different for everyone depending on how fast they move through things or how many blocks they need to break through to get the result. But like holding space for yourself in that holistic container really, really works. Okay, 2 more questions.
Okay.
First one, most exciting one. How is life different for you now? Like, how do you feel in your health, your body and your mind, your work, your business, your relationships?
Yeah, huge difference. Like even when I've talked to Chris, you're like, you're a completely different person I'm talking to when I first started talking to you last year. And like you're absolutely right. I think for me, the biggest thing is that with body burnout, it was sort of a different answer to what I originally thought it was, because I used to think that body burnout meant that you were just working too hard.
Yeah.
But in reality, body burnout is you're working too hard in the wrong things
Mm,
and you're not really truly in line with yourself. And I love that concept of like stress is when you have broken rapport with yourself.
mm,
And so a lot of the things that I was dealing with was, for example, like the anxiety and things. It's like my inner child inside of me, as I had explained to Chris, is that each time something like my intuition is kicking in, it's like my inner child punching me on the inside of my body, going, hey, listen here. Something here's not quite right. You need to listen to that. Where before I would just go, no, that's just me having anxiety and freaking out, just ignore that. I go, no, I actually need to start listening to myself and start trusting my intuition and listening to my inner child and what she's saying. And now I actually thank that part of me. I was like,
yeah.
this is good. This is my body telling me something and I need to start listening to that.
Yeah.
So once I combined those two things together, then I was able to start setting proper boundaries
Yeah.
and going, okay, this makes me feel uncomfortable. I can either say something about it or I can walk away from this situation. But there's so much more confidence within myself. And what comes with that is that instead of having this war going on inside my head, like I was saying before, I felt like I was stuck in this prison in my mind, which can be just, debilitating, which it was for me, is that I'm finally free of that. I'm finally free of this prison in my mind, and I actually really like being myself now.
Mm.
It's
Yay.
really good. Like the inner peace in general that has come with it is just it's next level. Like I can't even explain how grateful I am for that. From being somewhere where I thought I'm unfixable, I can't change this, I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life, to having such a huge transformation in less than a year. Yeah, it's incredible.
Happy tears for you.
Amazing. So
And it
nice.
is like, it's so freeing as well. So like you have used the metaphor, the prison, which, yeah, like trapped, caged. But then when there's peace within self, it's just like I'm free to be and do what I want to be and do.
Yeah, and it's helped so much in pretty much every aspect of my life.
Mm.
So like with my health, for example, I'm able to eat almost anything now without getting an upset stomach. I still
Freedom.
It is, yeah, it's been great. I still obviously am very conscious about what it is that I eat,
Yeah.
but I do not have anywhere near the same gut issues that I had before.
Mm.
And like I exercise regularly. I've seen quite big changes in my body composition. I'm actually growing muscle, like visible muscle on my body now, which I didn't have before.
Amazing.
Of becoming like physically stronger, even though I'm in my 40s now. I think
Mm.
I'm more muscular than I ever have been in my life, which is amazing.
Yeah.
In my relationships have been so much better. I've been able to attract people into my life that are just like, you're my person and I love you,
Get
and
lost on an island with.
100%. And then also, with other people as well, I've learned, okay, how, if somebody, like with my family, for example, I can put things in the right place to
Mm.
manage situations like that. And if other people show me disrespect, I can just walk away from that now. I don't take things on personally anymore. I look at people and go, that's them, that's their unhealed trauma, that's their projections, that's their emotional capacity. Don't take it on personally. And that's helped immensely in my work. And I can be 100% authentically myself now, which is something I've never been able to do in my life. And it's not like this mindset of, well, I am who I am, and if you've got a problem with it, then that's too bad. It's not about that. It's about I'm not hiding who I am now. I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am. I'm still going to be a good person, and have good morals and values and things because that's personally important to me. But I can authentically be myself. And if that's a little bit geeky or if that's a bit of a dag or a little bit weird or whatever, is okay because I finally got to that point of accepting myself. And I know, Chris, you've been saying from the beginning, I think you're awesome. And I'm just like, and now I'm like, you know what? I think I'm awesome too.
Yay!
I am. You are.
When Chris said he feels like he's talking to a completely different person, I agree. I remember in our very first consult, even your affect. So that's kind of like, it's like, it's not just your emotion, but it's almost like your countenance. I could tell that you were an extremely intelligent, interesting, awesome person, but you were so still in your body. Like it was almost like there was a contraction, whereas now it's just like you're taking up space and glowing.
Yeah, 100%. And it's changed every aspect of my life, like every part. I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, we're not going to be, and I'm still working with you guys. I'm still seeing you guys regularly, and I understand it's a work in progress, and there are still a few things that we're working on. But the changes that I've had in such a short period of time has been incredible.
Yeah. And I like it. Like, I mean, people often go from survival to healing and then healing to thriving. And I feel like you're in that, like, it's like now I'm optimizing and I'm thriving. And we're human beings that will continue to evolve until the day we don't die. So it's like, does this work ever end? We stop calling it work. And it's just like, we just continue having a beautiful relationship with ourselves and be who we want to be and go after the things we want.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I have this growth mindset that, we can continue to grow and learn pretty much for the rest of our lives. And situations that I get into now, instead of going, oh, I really messed that up, or I said the wrong thing, or that was dumb, I could just be like, okay, well, I'm human, and that's just how it was, and maybe there's a lesson here that I can learn. And like Chris has said, there are no failures, everything's just a lesson. And I've really taken that on board because we are our own worst critics.
Yeah.
That's normal, but to go, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And putting standards in place for myself. I think that's also a huge thing too. It's less expectations on other people and putting that back on myself, because when you're somebody who's constantly looking for external validation, or you measure your self-worth based on how other people treat you or see you, that doesn't, it's not a very healthy way to live. Where if you put that onto yourself and you know what you'll stand for and what you won't stand for, you can move through life so much more freely.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And sorry, Chris, were you going to say something before?
Just kind of something stupid as per normal. I just can't ever forget the very first time I had a conversation with Neeka where I was. My windscreen of my car just got smashed, and the only time I could get it fixed was it clashed with appointments, and so I had my first consult with Neeka while I was sitting on the ground on the steps in the garden of the window repair O'Brien's in our town. It was so funny. It was a good first experience. Is like, we're so professional. I am in the garden in the smash repairs. And
well, I think that's a good example of imperfectly being a human, doing good things in the world.
So funny. Yeah. Yeah. This definitely probably describes my personality. Neeka, from the get-go, she knew what she was getting into. This
It's like,
guy's just
yeah.
like zoomed her from the garden, the concrete steps.
From the side of the road. Yeah. Well, you still
dear.
showed up. That's the main thing.
That's it. And look at us now.
Look at us now. Okay, last question. So for anyone who is listening, especially if they're feeling a bit broken, or like, is it really possible? Or, maybe they're feeling a bit hopeless or just struggling with body burnout and what they're experiencing. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would definitely say I completely understand. Like, from somebody who is really skeptical about a lot of things, I was very hesitant to follow through with things, especially at the beginning, because, like, financially, I was in a very difficult position as well. I was fortunate enough to have, as I said, with Sally and her, as her being a close friend, that I got to see the transformation with her. But for me, myself, my own transformation was something that originally I really wasn't sure if it was possible, but I had gotten to a point where I was like, not, I don't want to say I didn't have anything left to lose. It was more, I had already done some work, but I felt I needed something more. And when I saw what it is that you guys do and how much of an approach you take on multiple angles, not only did I have Sally's personal experience, but I've read through your book, and I'm not a book reader at all, Philly. I cannot. I was the person who read like choose your own adventure books and stuff at school, and that was kind of it. I've barely read a book since, and your book is the first book that I have read in like over 2 decades.
Oh, wow.
That's epic.
That's so good.
And you've got a lot of experiences in there from other women that you've worked through, and that you are honest about that there have been some people who didn't necessarily fully apply everything and it didn't work for them. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. So you guys aren't just like constantly blowing your own trumpet going, yeah, what we do is amazing and it works for everyone. There's no hard sell. And you make it so that you say to people, this is something that is actually your responsibility. You're like, so you said to me, I'm the one who's going to do the work. You're not doing the work for me. You're there to support me and to guide me and be my life coach, but ultimately the results are going to be up to me. So with that level of transparency and the no hard pushing and no hard selling, that was something I really, really appreciated. So I was just like, I'm going all in. I'm trusting you guys 100%. Which is why I said all the things, just all the things. You're like, I'll take the supplements, I'll do the lab testing. Yeah, 100% trusting you guys based on all of that research that I had done. So if anybody is concerned or skeptical in any way, not only for if your method works, but can it actually work? Yeah, 100%. But you do have to be prepared to really do the work yourself. As you guys said, and I trusted you 100%, and I still do. So yeah.
Aww, thank you so much. It's so beautiful.
The best.
And it is like, keep leaning in and you'll get what you want. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Neeka. This has been a delight. I feel so happy. I feel so happy for you. And we have just loved working with you as well. And I love what you do professionally as well, and that you were able to gift me some love when we were up in Brisbane.
Yeah, it was really good to meet you guys and your family and the girls and everything as well. Like there's only, when you're on the screen all the time, but when you actually get to meet in person and you get to feel each other's energy and everything like that, I was very fortunate that I was able to meet you guys in person. So thanks for seeing me when you popped in on your trip.
Our pleasure. Oh, so good.
Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.